What up, boys? Welcome back to another balance change review, I guess. I was gonna say Reddit review because we're on Reddit, but Clash Royale decided today that they're sort of over tweeting out the balance changes, so I'm sort of late on this video because these have been out for 4 hours now. But usually I just sit with my phone and I'm like, I'll get a Twitter notification whenever they post them because I have notifications on. But today they were just like, you know what? We don't want to post them, which is really annoying, especially because they've consistently done that for every balance change ever. But yeah, let's just get into the changes. So you all know what's coming. You've probably all seen these by now. There's no way I'm your first source on this because I'm a little bit late. But yeah. Also, there's probably going to be background noise of my computer and probably my family because it is later here, which is why I usually record earlier in the day when nobody's here. But yeah, it's currently like 8 p.m. so there are people here, and Clash Royale have sort of screwed me here. But yeah, let's talk about Executioner, because Executioner is obviously the big one. His damage is going up almost 100%, and he's losing 5% HP, which I actually didn't see. That's actually sort of sad. His range is getting shorter, which means he's just going to be more damage in a shorter range, obviously. And his hit speed is going a little bit slower. His axe return time is going quicker, but like, whatever. That's just because of his range. So, in this, what I want to point out is something I retweeted earlier from Clash Royale, that Executioner is a little bit strong. And actually, there's a sound. There's not. But yeah, Executioner shut down Lava Loom with a Mega Minion just with an Ice Spirit paired with him. So he's sort of a bit strong, especially now that he like one-shots pups and stuff. It's a little bit questionable on whether he needed all this damage. In my opinion, this damage is fine as long as he dies to lightning, but he doesn't. He loses 5% HP. The Executioner's lag behind in win such use rates for a while in competitive play. Obviously, the issue of buffing him has been his general toughness and lack of counterplay. Due to high health, long range, and spatial control, a buff would make him powerful with only Rocket to defeat him on defense. Now, the problem with this is spatial control. I believe they mean how you deny an area from being played in, because the Executioner just controls the entire area. My problem with this is that this isn't an Executioner problem. This is a Tornado problem. If you make the Executioner hit like every 0.1 seconds, but make his damage like lower, then he's a card that's fine by himself. He doesn't need that Nado. But because he hits so slow, and now because his range is so short, he needs that Nado to bring everything together into his range where he can just sit there and not be attacked for a little while. So in my opinion, they needed to touch Nado with Executioner. We wanted a solid range attacker that could counter Fireball Bait type strategies, especially the Quarter Barbarians. This change will kill Barbs with one axe swing and leave Musketeers with just a sliver of health. Executioner will be less well-rounded. Now he'll be extremely powerful in favourable situations, but less effective against long-range attackers. Now, here is the problemo with this. Most long-range attackers already countered him. Like, Musketeer definitely already countered him. Just because he was so, like, slow at attacking and he needed so many hits. They say that they'll definitely counter him now. I can trust in that. But the problem is, they say he'll be less well-rounded and is now extremely powerful in favorable situations. Here's the problem again. The problem here is a little card called Tornado. As I pointed out in this tweet here, this is without Tornado he does this. Imagine when he's in more favorable situations, such as when everything is clumped 2 tiles away from him in a tornado, where he can just splash through all of it and not get damaged. That's the problem. I don't mind Executioner. The concept of Executioner is not a toxic concept. The toxic concept is Exi-Nado, when everything is stuck where an Executioner can access it with his axe and just chop through it all. Imagine this, right? But imagine a lot more units and the Executioner guaranteed hitting everything. The only reason it guarantees hitting everything is because this is obviously an example clip and Ash has put all of these together on purpose so the Exi hits it all. But imagine a real game where you can't counterplay this. Even if you space your units by 5 tiles each, Tornado's going to be like, you know what? All of this stuff, come into my Exi range and just get slapped. So personally, like, I'm a fan of Executioner getting rework, but I'm not a fan of this rework. I want to hark back to a conversation I had maybe like 2 days ago with Seth himself. Let me try and find it quick. Alright, no, this is literally yesterday, but he put on Twitter, we're going to announce balance changes tomorrow, so I wanted to take a minute to talk about our views on new cards Fisherman versus rework's Executioner. So then I replied to this and I was like, I know we'll see tomorrow, but have you made him more or less dependent on Tornado? Because to me, that's the key question. Tornado, how's it going to act? Because that's the toxic concept. Executioner by itself is fine. When paired with Tornado, a little bit toxic. Would be interesting to hear your viewpoint on this, because having a strong Executioner, so one that's just been buffed, in your deck with a Tornado makes about 75% of archetypes have a hard time. And I was probably being generous on that, because you gotta think, right? You gotta think of all the archetypes that will die to Xe by them, like, by itself. So that's just stuff like bait. You gotta then think of the smaller archetypes that will die to Tornado by itself. So that's just stuff like Hog Rider. You gotta then think of things that will die to Executioner and Nado. So like Beatdown. So many archetypes are counted by Executioner and Nado just having those two cards, because both of them are so versatile on defense and mainly defensive that, like, just 75% of archetypes do have a hard time against him. Depends how far away you are. Check the Reddit post from a few weeks ago. The outline of the rework is largely kept the same. So it was basically this, but a little bit different. So I'd say potentially more dependent on Tornado. His higher damage is now balanced by a shorter range. So when balancing, you give something and you take away something. But what you give should be more than what you take away if you want to buff. So in this instance, they've given more damage than they've taken away in range. So they've actually buffed him overall. And that's how they balance that. But if Tornado can bring everything into that shorter range, if you mitigate that shorter range, if he essentially has the same range as before, because Tornado is bringing everything into that shorter range, then that's a big yikes from me. Guess it'll be down to how much HP he ends up having. So I said this because if he has 2 HP and he's countered by literally a skeleton swing, then it's fine. It's weak because it's 5 elixir and you can zap it, right? That's fine. But because his HP has been taken 5%. Literally 5%. I don't even think an interaction changes with that. Maybe like he dies to a musketeer shot quicker or something, but no spells change with that. You still need to rocket him. And the problem with rocket is that it has the smallest like range of any spell, so it's so difficult to actually get value. I can 100% see rocketing an executioner by itself, not even the crown tower, being a valuable play now. And it's all because of Nado. If Nado wasn't in the game, I wouldn't be having this small sort of rant, because Executioner by itself here seems fine. It seems like a balanced card. Pair that with Tornado, and no, it's completely busted. However, here's a positive light on all of this. Gonna be honest, I'm as nervous about Executioner as you guys are. We did multiple rounds of testing and it kept coming back at lower win rates. We will watch it closely and do a mid-month change if he's way over the top. I'll keep posting stats here next week. So here's the positive. If it is busted, it's fine, because it's gonna be nerfed and it's gonna be like, I don't know, I don't want to say back to normal, but they're going to keep an eye on it, essentially. They're going to post stats, they're going to make sure everyone's updated, and they're going to change it if need be. So the game isn't broken. The only thing that I want to continue to rant about here is how they've neglected mentioning Tornado at all, when Executioner is very rarely used without Tornado. I think I did this in a, not in a video, but I think I worked this out once. It was like 90% of decks that ran Xe also ran Nado. Like, they are just a combo. That 10% of decks that doesn't run Tornado is probably just noobs being like, I like Executioner and running it. Like, they are almost inseparable in my mind. Anyway, that's like enough for this. I'm okay with this rework. I think it's fine if Tornado didn't exist. Tornado does exist, and Executioner with Tornado is going to be the most broken thing. I think if you use Xe by himself, fine, whatever, don't care. If he has Tornado, he's gonna be busted, and there's no counterplay to it, as they mentioned somewhere in here. I'm not gonna find it, but it's here. I did find it. But there still isn't counterplay. You haven't given us counterplay. You've just gone minus 5% HP. It's not really counterplay. Anyway, let's talk about the other changes that have been introduced. These are actually mostly positive. Royal Ghost, a small area damage radius buff, so just getting a little bit better. He needs it, so I'm okay with this one. Don't think it'll be enough to make him meta, but I don't actually know like how much this affects a card, so maybe it will. Talking of that, Dark Prince has the same done to him, but he's only losing 0.1 radius. Sounds weird to say, 0.1 radius. But yeah, Dark Prince been a little bit strong. Whatever, that one's fine. I don't think he needed it, but you know, maybe if people complaining about it, then whatever. So positive, probably positive. This one, big positive. As you know, I've been playing Expo and Ladder this month, and P.E.K.K.A. has been probably the hardest thing to counter, because you can no longer get P.E.K.K.A. into your tower range. So if you put an offensive expo and a P.E.K.K.A.'s coming, you can't trap it in tower range with skeletons anymore, because of its range. It'll just sit on the bridge and not be affected by your tower. So yeah, it definitely needed this. P.E.K.K.A. never needed a long range. That was extremely dumb. Like, Prince has a long range because it has a lance, right? P.E.K.K.A. has like this sword, which is maybe medium range, but no way that's long range. Agree with this, agree that didn't give her hit points back either. I think she's well and truly nerfed now, and I think maybe she'll not fall out of favor, but maybe lose a few percentages on the usage rate charts. Goblin Cage is a weird one because I haven't actually used or seen many Goblin Cages just because of levels, and I don't keep up to date with like CRL and stuff, so this might be the most busted card in the game like people are saying, and I just don't know. So I will assume it's a positive change. I feel like making it now fast just gives you more time to react to it, and yeah, maybe that's just a good change. Fisherman is a really interesting one. I don't think this card is that bad. I still think this card is actually okay. They've gone and made it free elixir and taken its damage down by 11%. I don't think they actually said which interactions that 11% changed, but either way, free elixir is literally taking off 25% of his elixir cost, so that one's pretty busted. I think it's positive though. I want to see not Executioner. I want to see Fisherman in the meta at least one time, even if I don't agree with the concept of it, just to like let people know this card can be pretty busted. Seth posted on Twitter as well that he didn't want to make the Fisherman hit air because it didn't work graphically, which I guess makes sense. They want their game to look graphically weird, so yeah, good on them. And this bug fix is literally just like some text on a giant card changing. So yeah, let me know what you think of Executioner. Personally, I'll repeat myself again, but Executioner by itself, fine. Executioner with NATO, we're in for a big world of trouble. So learn how to use Tornado. I'll leave my Tornado tech video in the top left, because top left? It's top right, isn't it? It's top right. But I know you all want to learn how to use NATO now, because it's probably going to be the strongest card in the game once more, which is really sad, because I hate that card. But yeah, boys, overall, I think these balances are actually quite good. I'm not complaining too much, because I know this is going to get changed within, like, 2 weeks. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and peace.